For this first one, I am going to go ahead and show you what an instant lock using your own hair looks like. The great thing about this method is that you don't have to add any additional hair. And here I'm using the 3-pronged crochet tool. And with this method, you're just going to pull the hair with the 3-pronged crochet hook back and forth. And as I'm doing this, I'm also rotating. It's kind of difficult to see, but you can look at my fingers and see that I'm rotating the hair and kind of rubbing it back and forth in that type of motion. And I do that all the way down the length of the lock. So I'm rotating it and I'm pulling hairs through, and I'm pulling them diagonally, I'm pulling them left and right, up and down, changing the direction of the needles as much as possible, just so that I can get the hair to lock and to actually mesh and do the things that it's supposed to do. And as you can see, this is in real time, so it doesn't take a long time at all to get through a lock. And of course, depending on how long your hair is and the density and all of those things, it will change how long it takes to get through. But something else to keep in mind is that this mannequin's head, her name is Jury, she does not have 4C hair. She's got this like blown out texture. I'd say she's in the 3 somewhere. So keep that in mind as we're going through these different types of locks, and realize that if you have type 4 hair, 4A, B, C, that this is going to turn out a lot different on you and better than it does on this mannequin. But this is just for the purposes of showing you. And as you see, as I get to the end length of the lock, I'm still doing the same thing, of the hair, to make it into a lock, and I'm pulling it down and rotating it as I go. And then when I get to the end of this one, and honestly all of them, you see I kind of loop the hair at the end up, and I'm going to crochet that hair in, so that way your hair is not just hanging at the bottom and you have these loose straggly ends, but instead it gives you this rounded look and it's more natural. Again, Jury's hair is like a blown out 3B or 3A texture, and so it's not going to be the same as if you're in the 4 texture family. And then I go back and I will palm roll that lock just to give it that more cylindrical and smooth feel. And here you can see our outcome of that lock. It looks wonderful. It took us less than 2 minutes and we have a lock on one of our sets of hair. Now I'm going to go in with some extension hair, and I'm going to show you the wrapping method with some kinky extension hair. And this hair was actually provided to me by XC Hair Extensions, and I will put all of the information in the description box so that if you're interested, you can check that out. And you can also get a $10 coupon code if you use the link in the description. Alright, and with the wrapping method, for me, it's important to get somewhat close to the scalp. And so as I do that, it's literally what it's called, the wrapping method. And so you're going to kind of start your base and then wrap from there. And you wrap a little bit and then you move your hand naturally down the length of the hair that you're trying to wrap. And you're just wrapping your own hair in this kinky Afro hair. And you're going to keep going down. And the good thing about this method is that if you do find yourself with thinner spots or spots that you need to add more hair to, you can easily go back and wrap some more hair around that area. You can wrap up and down, and when you do that, it not only gives a better, more uniform look, but it also makes it so that it's not just perfectly wrapped looking. It's kind of hard to describe, but I feel like when people have wrapped locks, it gives more of an illusion or the look of the synthetic locks as opposed to natural looking locks. And see, here I ran out of hair, but that's not a problem because I just go and grab a little bit more. And when you're doing the wrap method, just like with any other method, you can choose the length that you want them to end up. You can choose the thickness by adding more, or you can make them thinner depending on what size you want, what you're trying to achieve with these locks. And then when I get to the end, as usual, I would bend up or kind of loop the hair at the end. And then with that same hair, I'm going to start going up the length of the lock, just so that you can seal it in and lock it and make sure that that lock does not come undone. And then, like I said, you can go up and down the length of the lock while wrapping, and what that does is it just gives it a more natural look so that you don't just have a perfectly wrapped lock. And then, like with all of them, I will palm roll it at the end to kind of condense it and get the lock to be shaped the way that I want it to be.